Hello everybody, my name is Chris and yes, it's that time of the year. Here is my ranking of the top 10 best movies of 2023. Now these are my personal favorites, so I'm curious to know if some of your favorite films of 2023 are on my list. Also, let me know down below in the comments what are your top 10 best movies of 2023. So let's start up with number 10. So my number 10, Past Lives. I adore this film. It's an understated drama that will make you contemplate your entire life as well as the life you could have. It will make you think about the people you lost contact with and what could have happened if you stay in touch with them. It will also make you think about the people who are the closest to you and how they shape you and your life. Is beautiful and nuanced, and despite being a small scale story set between three people, it's a powerful experience that stays with you for a very, very long time. I saw this film uh, months ago and it still stuck with me. It's a very powerful film, it's a very captivating, compelling story. So easily one of my favorites of this year. Now moving on to number 9. My number 9 is Megan. Now Hollywood loves to show out horror movies, especially these days. And it seems that people are not getting tired of them, but Megan is truly something special and unique. And in my opinion, it's the funniest horror movie since Scream. And both movies are meta. Scream is meta about other slasher films, while Megan is very meta in terms of society and pop culture, from commentary on kids in technology to women in the workplace to what it takes to make a splash on social media, and Mega's got it. This character overnight became a sensation thanks to that fantastic outfit and the dance they dream up. And it's now already featured at Universal's Horror Night. It's just a great character, and I'm very excited for the sequel. I cannot wait to see the sequel for this film. Honestly, this film really surprised me this year. Now, my number 8, The Creator. Now, yes, this movie was a flaw, but I had such a good time watching this movie and I was so impressed with it. I put it at number 8. So, yes, the downer ending, though, it was for me a bit too much, but most people didn't even bother to check this movie out. But and but I still think that most of the movie is still brilliant sci-fi. As artificial intelligence has exploded out of the movies and into our reality, here is a movie, the creator, doing a fantastic job of showing off what our near future might be like, with AI robots living amongst humans fighting for their own future. Is something downright poetic. I love it so much. And the movie also has a cool international feel with the cast and the locations. And the world building is excellent with a future incredible well realized, not just intellectually, but physically as well, from cities to factory. And also on the flip side, rebellion. Also, the VFX were incredible and very affordable on this film. I just feel the movie is very clever, and I was so impressed by it. And for me, this is easily just top-notch sci-fi. Now, moving on to number 7, The Holdovers. Now, this is a very well made film and it's a throwback to the movies that of the era that it depicts, the 1960s 70s. And while most Christmas movies focus on families, this movie focuses on the family people make when they lose their original families due to many different types of circumstances, as you can see in the holdovers. But that makes this movie very bleak, but also very uplifting. And as we see this character rally in their darkest moment, it is quite compelling and can often seem like Christmas is out of reach for some people, devastatingly so. But the holdovers show is there for everyone, especially with a little teamwork. The movie also shows while people might seem like a stereotype on the surface, so easy to tell what's going on with them, that is so wrong. Everyone not only has a story but a mystery to them, and likely dealing with things you cannot imagine. Some great twists and turns in this film, but I felt that the balance wasn't quite there between the bleak and the uplifting, and also the pace is quite slower than I would like, and also much slower than the trailer for this film promise. And Paul Giamatti is excellent here. I mean, his performance is so touching. Every scene he's in, and also the prosthetic on his eye is something he really levels up here. I mean, he's incredible for sure. Such a hardworking actor, and he's accompanied by two incredible supporting roles in this movie by Devine Joy Randolph and newcomer Dominic Caesar, and they both do a phenomenal job here. Now, moving on to number 6 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now, it's a little hard to judge this film because the story ain't over and we still have to see part 2, but artistically, whoa. The ambition of Across the Spider-Verse is jaw-dropping, and thanks to this movie and the popular Spider-Man video games, Miles Morales has finally become a household name, as he should, and is accepted by most people as a Spider-Man in his own right. And while the movie didn't have an ending, it did have one hell of a cliffhanger, and it was a fantastic, and the setup for part 2 paved the way for some incredible important commentary on how circumstances have such a big say in how we turn out. And I think it's a commentary that I feel has been missing from all these multiverse stories. That is what multiverse stories are supposed to actually be about. Miles being caught between his law enforcement father and law-breaking uncle was one of the most fascinating part of the character that really started out in the comics, and I'm so excited that the movies are continuing to depict that, and it's just great stuff. So I'm very excited for the next movie here, for the next chapter of Miles Morales, and it's just become such a fascinating character to watch on screen. Now, my number 5, The Color Purple. Now, this film is emotionally powerful, and the characters, as anyone who is familiar with the story knows, go through some thrilling highs but also some lows, and I think the music helps because instead of witnesses you feel those highs and lows. I mean, it was just an amazing film, and just like every emotion is highlighted here, so is every color as the film, and it's just so vibrant. It will take your breath away. And the performances are phenomenal across the board. And the director, Bliss Basu, uh, who comes from Beyonce's Black is King, he directed one of the segments there, and what a command of cinema. I mean, he's not only an incredible director, but he's an incredible narrative director. And it was just an incredible thing to witness. And this stands besides the best musicals that Hollywood has ever produced. It just is that good. I remember the first film, Steven Spielberg directed that, and it had a ton of awards nominations. It was just incredible. And I'll say that I think this one is a bit better than that one. It's just an incredible film. Now moving on to number 4, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. So yes, box office. Why this was like a huge misfire for Tom Cruise, and it's so sad because the film is just extraordinary, because director Christopher McQuarrie delivers not only the best Mission Impossible today, but I think one of the best action movies ever. Action movies simply don't get any better than this. And really, as soon as the movie started, right from the opening scene, I knew it was something special and that it was firing on all cylinders. Beautifully made, with every element of the movie turn up to an 11. But I can't talk about Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning without mentioning one of really the horrible self-inflicted flaw, and that is the treatment of Elsa Faust. It's just a real shame, as she was brought in and kept around back when the franchise was being criticized for keeping all the male characters from movie to movie, but then replacing the female lead with each new entry. That was bad, and you can see now where that attitude came from, cause it's back. And I mean, the way Elsa Fowl is replaced, Rebecca Ferguson is replaced by Hayley Atwell, is downright insulting, and I was just shocking to witness that on screen. But yeah, Atwell is so good in her role that the movie, I think, kind of gets away with it, or easy, because it didn't do as well as the other Mission Impossible films. Of course, there's an element that it was said it was released like between Barbie and Oppenheimer, so that was well, probably the big reason. Now moving on to my number 3, Poor Things. Now, when I went to see this movie, I didn't know what to expect. I love some of Yorgos Lanthimos films. Especially my favorites are The Lobster and The Favorite. The other ones, I think they are good. Some of them, I think they are more controversial. I think he's a very talented filmmaker, and just witnessing this film, it's just, the film is a visual feast to watch this film. And I mean, Emma Stone command every second on screen she's in this movie. I mean, I think this is the best performance of her entire life, and the supporting cast is excellent. Willem Dafoe, Mark Ruffalo. I mean, just a incredible talent here. But it's just it's a very weird movie, but I was so surprised by how weird it is and how well constructed it is. And I think this movie in hands of another director might have not worked as well as it did, because uh, there's some things in the movie you might see it as controversial, and actually get that point. I won't say anything, because if you haven't seen it, I want you to experience, because easily I think is one of the best films I've seen in the entire year. It's simply that great. It's just performances, cinematography, the story. I really love the story. I love the movie so much. It's just, honestly, go watch it. Now, my number two, Barbie. Now, I love this film so much, and it's frustrating to see some people be so dismissive of this film because of its subject matter and its success. But that's all the more reason to be uh, rooting for this film, and having such a delightful time, because what Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie have accomplished here as a blockbuster about feminists, is, I think, is a very tough trick to pull off, much less so successfully. And Barbie was an amazing experience, not just the movie itself, but the party they created at the theater. And in Hollywood history, who will ever forget Barbenheimer? It was so great, and it became a pop culture moment with everyone on the face of the earth feeling they needed to get to the multiplex at the time when streaming 20, is competing with the theaters. And it was just so great to see so many people go to the theater and watch this movie, and in groups and family. And Barbie is so masterfully crafted, and women across the world were flabbergasted to finally see modern feminists depicted not only so perfectly for them, but as has never been seen before, especially today, truthfully. But we optimism. There's an important part of it. Plus, Ryan Gosling as Ken, what a gift to pop culture. Instead of taking just guys, it was all in good fun. Barbie simply does a reversal and puts Ken in the position that women were in, like in the 1950s. It's just powerful stuff, and Ken is lovingly devoted all of them, and just the audience just was falling dead over heels for all the Kens in this movie. I mean, it was insane, and like the musical numbers, I mean, it was it was perfect. I mean, everything, the colors, the cinematography, the direction, the performances, and it was just a movie that really put a smile on your face and really just make it a party. Go seeing this in the theater. It was just one of the best experiences that I had in all year in the theater. And also the Ken sound. Oh man, who cannot forget that? I mean, that is right there, Oscar worthy song. Now, moving on to my number one. I think you probably guess what my number one is by right now. And my number one is Oppenheimer. I mean, whoa, Christopher Nolan, you really done you us. You really done yourself here, because I was so blown away by this movie. I mean, we both, everyone knows how incredible talented he is, but I mean, to put a movie to this together and put it like a blockbuster movie over the summer, a drama about the creation of the atomic bomb, of focusing on the Oppenheimer. Uh, it's something incredible, and I think very difficult to do, and Christopher Nolan did achieve that. The movie almost made it $1 billion. I mean, I was so impressed by it, not only because I think the way the film is constructed between changing to the present to the past is done so well. I think making like some of those scenes black and white were a phenomenal choice from Nolan. A really stylistic choice that really benefit him, and just the performances across the board. I mean, some of the actors here just show up for a couple of minutes, one or two scenes, and I think some of them had done the best performances of the career in just one or two scenes here. So it was just something incredible when I went to see this movie in IMAX in the theater, and everyone so waiting for that moment of the big boom. It was just you had to be there in the theater to witness that, and the reaction that people have when that scene happened. And when the movie was over, everyone started getting off the seat and clapping, and I was, whoa, this is just an incredible experience that I'm witnessing here. It's just for me, it was cinema history watching this film, and I think that is what Christopher Nolan has achieved with this film. And I'm just so blown away because I think he can basically do everything by now. Even whatever story he can choose to do and make it feel like such a intriguing, compelling story, and really make a movie a very like a drama feel like a big blockbuster film. It was just, and Robert Downey Jr., the best performances of his career. Cillian Murphy, I mean, he really grabs your attention every second he's on screen. It's just remarkable watching him in this movie, and how he portrays this person. It's just phenomenal. So those are my top 10 best movies of 2023. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.